So I started watching Batman animated series. I was doing shorts, but I decided since I'm like gonna really take this serious, I start over. So I'm season 1, episode 1, Batman animated series, The Cat and the Claw, part 1. And I mean, I guess I just have to say it for this episode, this video, just to give you like some brief, just how I like to look at stories, movies, TV shows, cartoons, all that good stuff. So I take it like serious, not like, well, maybe like, but I take it serious. I take like life lessons from them, when stories that I like, that engage me, that grab me. It's like, I'm like, all right, so how can I take the issues I have of today and apply them to what I'm seeing on screen to give me some answer, to give me some pathway or guidance. I don't know. It's interesting. I've always tried to give the cartoons and stuff that I watch, the kids stuff, I tried to give it significance by like seeing if there's lessons in it I can apply to my life. So one, that's kind of like how I approach it, I guess. Also, I've also learned from Quentin Tarantino, funny enough, it's that you almost have like as a fan or as a customer or a consumer, you almost have this little private, I don't know, authorship, if you will, of the stories you love. And so if there's a gap that the story doesn't fill, you could be like, this is what I imagine is in this gap. And I first heard Quentin Tarantino do that. So ever since then, whenever I'm like watching like a Batman movie or show or episode, or, it don't have to be Batman, it could be Spider-Man or, whatever. Hajime no Ippo, Hajime the Fighting. No matter what I'm watching, I'm, I forgot what I was, basically that I, I look at it and take it serious and try to see if, okay, so if this happened this time, then I try to look at it as like everything was done on purpose. Now, whether it was or not, we all know, we watch behind the scenes stuff and, we think, oh man, we remember that forever. And it was like, oh yeah, we just put that together real quick. We had like 5 seconds. I thought, hey, what about some popsicle sticks? And then it's like historic. So I get that actually happens. But just as like an audience member, I one thing, I guess, like some rules I guess I go by is like the karma. Like there's always a story karma, and by that I mean, it's almost like when you see a character act like an asshole and then later on they get hurt or in some movies or shows like they'll get killed. It's almost like trying to give the audience member a reason to be okay with it or feel like it was some type of justice that was done. And it's not just bad stuff, it's good stuff too. But that's one thing I kind of keep in mind is like, all right, the karma of what I'm watching. Quentin Tarantino does a good job of this. I say he does a good job, like, who am I? But I'm saying in terms of, he makes you earn it. You're going to love the ending of his movies, but you're going to have to give something up, in Inglourious Bastards, yep, all right, we got my man Christoph Waltz and, my man Brad Pitt put the swastika in his head, but we had to give up Michael Fassbender and was it Bridger von Hammerschmark in the theater. We had to give him up. That's the story. You know what I mean? Pulp Fiction. You know what I'm saying? We got Jules and Vincent alive at the end. You know what I'm saying? But Vincent had to go. Somebody had to go, and Vincent had to go. So that type of thing. And then another thing is, like I said, even stuff that might be mistakes or, things that are not part of continuity, I try to make a reason for it, I try to fill in all the plot holes? To me, that's fun. To me, that's where I get a chance to add to what I enjoy the most. Having said all that, That's how like I'm approaching it. So I was watching Batman, The Cat in the Claw. I got some, some notes. Oh, also, I learned this in one of the many acting classes that I took from my professor, Mr. Hugh O'Gorman. And basically, he introduced to me. I don't know if I'm sure he probably didn't make it up. I don't know, but he introduced it to me, and it was reading something or watching something or listening to something 3 times. Like, don't even try to go through it once. Take the big steps and all right, what happened? What's the synopsis? What's going on? All right, read through it again. If you have questions, dig more into the details. All right, you get to start, actually putting them in your head, and then you go through the 3rd time. Now, that doesn't mean you're a master of it, but that at least 3 times is a good basis to have a good beginning understanding. Now, that doesn't apply to everything, but I've noticed that for me, if I read a book 3 times, read a chapter 3 times, watch a movie 3 times, listen to a podcast episode 3 times, it sticks in my head more. I feel like the one time that I'm expected to understand that much, it takes me at least 3. But, so yeah. So then I wrote some stuff down. So I guess a quick synopsis for those that might or might not watch it. I'm going to try not to spoil it, but I mean, it's been out since, I think this episode, since 1992. And I mean, they're not like M. Night Shyamalan twists. It's just some dope art. Like, when people care about the art that they put out and you can see the details, and, I enjoy them. So anyways, the story starts out on Catwoman. And Batman catches her in the act of burglarizing in Gotham. And so that's their introduction, their first introduction. And as the episode plays out, my bad, y'all. Let me some water. Hold up, sorry. So it just so happens Selina Kyle is in Gotham for an animal auction celebrity. Was it an animal rights auction celebrity? An animal rights celebrity auction. An animal rights celebrity auction. And Bruce Wayne is there, and this is the first time we see him as a playboy in the series, and he's gonna get auctioned on, and women are gonna, bid for a date with him. And so Selina's in town, so she can give some money to the animal rights, organization that was holding it in Gotham, as well as she was in town to kind of be around to finalize some business to help get some land for a mountain lion reserve. I'm trying not to get into too much detail, but it looks like I'm having trouble with doing that. But anyways, she's trying to find out how this international company took her deal for the mountain lion reserve land, and is going to take, and I guess they're going to strong arm them. And they're going to take the land and use it for whatever they want to use it for. And Red Claw and her gang or organization, I guess they're going to do some business with a viral plague. So it sounds like they plan on causing like some mass like genocide type stuff. At least that's what it seems like, or at least threaten. So yeah, and so Catwoman, she doesn't know about that part. She just knows that this company is trying to take her land. And so Selina Kyle breaks in, and she's trying to find out if there's any dirt she can get on them, so she can, I guess, get the land back from them. And then of course Batman's around, and he's trying to help save her. And so part 1 ends with, well, I guess I'm not trying to spoil it, so that's just part one, and that's all I'm going to talk about now anyway. So yeah, so I guess the main deal is Batman, Catwoman, Bruce Wayne, Selena Kyle. You see their interaction together. And Catwoman and Batwoman definitely like each other, but of course they have the attraction to each other. But if there's one thing that's between us, it's the law, which is a theme I'm gonna talk about because everybody's being a hypocrite in this first episode. Man, this first episode is on some real, like, hard-hitting adult, the world is gray and complex issues. Shout out to the behind-the-scenes team of Batman, the animated series. So, but yeah, so Selena Kyle trying to get some land for the Mountain Lions, another company trying to strong arm them, and they have some ulterior motives, and Batman being caught in the middle of it because it's going down in Gotham. And so, after watching the episode a few times, there's some details, and if you know, feel free to watch it. I mean, I'm not time stamping what I'm saying to the actual episode, but I'm sure you'll see what I'm talking about if you're curious. So one thing that stuck out is when Selena Kyle was our Catwoman, when she was breaking in to this condo. The episode starts out with her breaking in, right? Well, some interesting things. The condo seems to be, because you see someone's asleep in there, and it seems to be a woman with a couple pets on her bed. I'm not sure if they were dogs or cats, but she doesn't seem to be in bed with anybody else. And so I was like, wow, Selena Kyle, or Catwoman, is robbing a wealthy, probably independent woman. Now, I guess it's possible she has a boyfriend or she has a husband that was out on business or whatever the case may be. But let's just say that they drew her there by herself on purpose. It's like, So Selena Kyle, she's not that she would not steal from independent, wealthy women, but it's just interesting that that's not something that's holding her back at all. You know what I'm saying? It's like, word up, it's hard to be an independent, wealthy woman out here killing the game, and we both doing it. Which, ironically, the woman that was getting robbed is probably doing it legally compared to Selena, who obviously is making her money from stealing. So just some interesting, it's like, oh, Selena really doesn't have a code. She's all about these animals. The rest of these humans can kick rocks. She's part of no fight other than the animal rights. The Ricky Gervais, you feel me? So that was something that struck me. Another thing was Selena Kyle. I keep calling her Selena Kyle, which is okay, but she's in Catwoman at the time. So Catwoman, she has these golden claws. I know I gotta cut my nails too. She has these golden claws, and they're super sharp, which, okay, they're cutting through glass easy, and I'm sure it's not like fragile glass, especially at the top of a skyscraper. Now, I have no logic or reasoning or evidence of this, but I mean, I'm thinking a woman of that wealth, she knows her diamonds are in that room anyway, like right next to her. I mean, I'm thinking the glass isn't easy to cut through, and Selena just like butter. Also, for her to be able to cut through with precision, but then there's been a couple times throughout the episode she does that. She's cutting through glass, but she'll like catch the glass with like the claws. So it's like she has the dexterity to not even like scratch or break the glass when she catches it, but then also she can cut right through it like it's nothing. So it makes me think, is there like a DC equivalent of adamantium and vibranium? Because it makes me curious about where Selena Kyle has been before she got to Gotham. Because she's new. It's not like, oh, Selena Catwoman again. It's like, no, one of the first things Batman says when he sees her is, our new cat burglar is a woman. Yeah, Batman noticed, boy. You can see them curves in the night light. But yeah. So, interesting about the gold claws. Interesting about where she's been before that. Let's see what else we got going. Oh, just because I'm also a Game of Thrones fan. Selena Kyle as a warg or a skin changer, I think those are the two terms for it in Game of Thrones, with her cats. Now, in the 1992 Batman Returns, they made it seem like she had like this mystical afterlife connection, because she was reborn, like baptized from the cats in Batman Returns, I think Michelle Pfeiffer. So I was thinking about that in this one, because they had like a little part where the cat was like looking with cat eyes, but then they kind of turned. Now they didn't turn into Selena Kyle's eyes, but it just made me think because they turned like these, like circles, because they went from the little slits to circles. So I was like, I'm sure cats can do that too as well, but the way they portrayed it in the show was like, seems like there's a bit of a deeper connection there, which I just think is dope. I don't know how feasible it is to explore and still be taken seriously, but a dude is dressed as a bat, and I still think that's pretty dope. So who knows what could work. I didn't look this up. No, I probably should have, but so Catwoman's sidekick, the black cat she keeps on her side, like when she goes to steal stuff, is named Isis. I'm sure there's a meaning behind the name, in the derivation. I got that word from Curb Your Enthusiasm, derivation. The derivation of the word, but yeah, I guess there was nothing else to mention except I should have looked up the name to see what it means. I'm sure it has some deeper meaning that pertains to her role alongside Catwoman. Oh, something I thought was pretty interesting. So the show opens up with Catwoman. You don't open up with Batman. Well, the theme when that shows before every episode where like the two robbers are outside the bank and it explodes and they're like, that came on before. So in that sense, Batman showed up. But the beginning of the episode started with Catwoman. And she was, and the reason that's dope is because there's Arkham City, the video game. Now, I think you start as Bruce Wayne, but the first time you actually, I guess you kind of get into some type of combat. But when the game starts combat, you play as Catwoman. And I thought it was a dope parallel. I'm not sure that Arkham City was thinking about that. Because again, technically you don't start with Catwoman. But I remember being off guard when I started the game. Because I was like, oh snap, I'm Catwoman. Like, I'm actually fighting hoods and like I'm Catwoman. And then now I'm watching Batman the animated episode and it's like, oh, sick. This is tradition. Who knew? So dope. So I mentioned it before, Bruce Wayne's Playboy persona. So he's popular because the first time he's at the auction is the first time you see Bruce Wayne in the show. Dripping with swag, but he's not even dressed. So he dresses down, in my opinion, because he wears a brown suit with brown shoes and like a yellow shirt underneath. I'm not making fun of it. Just in me looking at that, I'm thinking, brown. And I think he's being super chill. He's trying to stay super low. Also, brown isn't threatening. You know what I'm saying? Like, if my man had all black on, like the billionaire wearing all black, walk up in that, but he seems like he wants everybody to be like chill around him. They're at the auction, so it's like charitable for animal rights. So his Bruce Wayne persona is sitting pretty high, man. He can make moves. He can call people. People have no problem doing favors for him. That's one of the things he does in the first episode. Selena Kyle's not even feeling him. And not to mention, at the same time, on some Kanye West at the end of Last Call, at the same time, she's getting the news from her lawyer that they lost the land for the mountain lion preserve. So she's upset. And she's like, I don't think you're going to like going on this date. And she's like, unless you can get me a call with the head of Multigon International, which is the company. He's like, when's the best time? Calls him. She's like, oh, snap. And next thing you know, they in the office. So it's just interesting looking at the different type of personas. I would say it was like the Christian Bale Bruce Wayne persona, but I feel like in the animated series there's even a step further into making him like he's not that he's a good guy. He makes it a point to like Bruce Wayne's a good guy too. He may not be as cool and dope as Batman, the Knight, but he's like, no, I'm still headed in that direction. Whereas, Christian Bale, he was in the pool, or he was with his women in the pool, and, he didn't mind playing like even, how about this? Even this Bruce Wayne in the show, he's not trying to even look like a womanizer. How about that? He's not even trying to look like he got multiple women's. That's not even his thing. So, difference in personas. No bat signal yet. I'm looking at my notes. No bat signal yet. And he's not calling them on the phone. In fact, they meet in private. Now, this isn't my first time watching Batman the animated series. I'm older. I'm like, let me start finding out what I have a passion for, what I want to do. So that's me watching this and reviewing this. But I say that to say that I noticed that over time, the show got more and more kid-friendly. And I can see how, kids asking, Mom, why is Jim Gordon meeting in private with Batman? Isn't Batman a good guy? And it's like, well, no, honey, Batman's breaking the law. It's like, what? Yeah, no. When people say Batman's a criminal, they have a point. So, yeah. But I love it. The him having to meet him and off on the side and talking to Batman, and so I dig that. Hey, life is great, dude. Life is great, and when the thing you watch is openly acknowledging that yes, stuff is confusing out here, and you still have to try to fight and find a way to be a force for good. That's my jam. All right, let me get back to these notes. I'm going to start preaching. The Church of the Holy Bat, Barbados. Can I get a ski? All right, sorry. So I guess to keep going in order of probably what happens in the episode, there's a point in the episode where the gang that is with, I guess I'm kind of spoiling stuff, huh? Well, I gotta talk about it. So you don't realize it's the Red Claws gang at the time, but there's a gang driving down the street shooting at the police, and you see that they're opening this crate, and both the crates say U.S. Army, and it has guns in it. Now, I get it. Okay, look, I get it. They stole them from the U.S. Army, and they're using them. Red Claw is known as, I think, the top international terrorist. So I think at the moment, she's most wanted. Oddly enough, they don't even know that she's a woman. They keep referring to her as a man throughout the whole episode. Yeah, I know I'm spoiling everything. But this is cool. You already know when I was talking about all that other stuff. It's a good episode, though. It's a good episode. But I don't even mention that because I was like, now let's just say this gang wasn't sophisticated. They show some points of sophistication, which if I can remember, I'll bring them back up. But I'm like, let's just say they're not that sophisticated. Like, no, they're not they don't have the ability to steal from the U.S. Army. So it's like, what if there was a contract? Now hear me out. What if, because they don't say where they're from, but it's clear they're from out of the country. So my thought was, what if the government was seeing some stuff was rumbling in a country and was like, now this is just just to make it all make sense for right now. What if they was tending towards communism, but they had some stuff that we wanted? So maybe we'll go, you know what? Let's see if we can get a group going to cause some chaos, to disrupt all that communism, to get some nice democracy, USAism in there. Let's mix it up. Let's get some USAism in it. Let's just keep churning it. So they leave some weapons somewhere and let some, rebel, strike force groups or whatever get together. Maybe Red Claw being one of them. Or, hear me out, I know everything doesn't have to be about the League of Assassins or Ra's al Ghul, but what if Red Claw had like the low-key same like Bane storyline in this universe, in this Batman animated series universe? And so she kind of splintered off, right? And so it's not so much that their group specifically had a deal, it's that they were with the League of Assassins. And the League of Assassins was kind of being allowed to, and kind of being funded in certain areas or being provided with supplies in certain areas to furthermore the interests of the West. So maybe that group, and also in the episode, Interpol got a hold of a virus that the Red Claw gang had. So my thought was, when Interpol made the move to get the virus, maybe Red Claw had like some type of discrepancy with the rest of her gang, or if it was the League of Assassins and Ra's al Ghul, but that she splintered off to do her own thing and to go back and get what was taken from them. So I was like, interesting, because it says U.S. Army, so I extrapolated all that, and I'm sure there's a lot of ways that can be not the case. It just got my mind going, because I was like, wow, a couple of U.S. Army crates, and then it's like, well, there's two avenues. They either stole, there's a whole bunch of other possibilities, right? They could have actually been some oversights and stuff left around, and then some people could have had the connections and found it, and who knows. But I just thought that was interesting. They put U.S. Army on the crates, and I'm sure that's not what they were insinuating, the animators. But being that that's the case, and so much information comes out nowadays, it's like, that the storyline could be on the base of it could be that the U.S. government had a deal with the Red Claw. I keep calling the Red Claw gang, but the Red Claw affiliates are, the company, their front company is called Multigun International, I forgot where I was going with that, but it could have been a deal gone wrong, like between the Red Claw gang and the U.S. government. It's like interesting. I say that to say also because when Jim Gordon meets with Batman, he says the feds called him, they warned him that morning that Red Claw would be in Gotham, but that they didn't know if it was a he or a she, or maybe he just said he. But I'm like, so it's the number one most wanted, and y'all got no information? Y'all don't even know? Oh, that would be an interesting, if Red Claw was a dude, and then got the trans, and became a trans woman, Red Claw. That doesn't have to be the case, but this is just all the possibilities that be popping in my head and stuff. What else? Oh, yeah, I guess I gotta keep spoiling it. So at the end of the episode, you find out that one of the henchmen of the Red Claw Multi-Gun International gang that he found where Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman, stays. And he's like has like a place bugged so he can hear that she knows about the Red Claw's true intentions of using the viral plague for their plan, which I'm still not sure what is yet. But yeah. And so I think one of the reasons they were able to track Selena Kyle back to her crib, one, in an event, some stuff happened before she got back to her crib and she had to be saved. And she got split away from her cat Isis. I think maybe they got like a tracker on the cat. Red Claw seems, at least in the episode, I get the sense that she's very good at improvising, like improvising on the set, on the situation, in the moment. she seems to be very good at, or at least I get the sense that, you know, she's not rattled if things start to get chaotic, you know. And so I think maybe that they found a way to get a tracker on her. Also, though, they Red Claw asked that this one of the, like, I guess the CEO have somebody follow Selena Kyle because she was already seeing that Selena Kyle was gonna be a problem, because Selena Kyle was talking that mess. She was like, no, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get this land back. So yeah, Red Claw was like, we need somebody to follow her because, what'd she say? We've put too much work in to be stopped by some environmentalist. Or something like that. Let's see, what else? What else? Oh, there's a point in the episode where the first time Batman is chasing Catwoman and she gets away from him, or he lets her get away, I don't know. But he's like, oh, memento. And he finds like a piece of cloth. And so I'm thinking, because interestingly enough, in the first episode, you don't go to the Batcave. You don't meet Alfred. I know, it was interesting. I didn't even realize that until after I watched it the third time, and I was like, oh, snap. I didn't even meet the homie. So I'm thinking, he probably used that piece of cloth, and I'm like, did he find out her identity? I'm guessing he needed to get the hair. Well, I'm not sure if the piece of cloth came from her suit that's part of her head, or so. I don't know if you'd be able to get hair follicles and figure it out if it's Selena. But it's just a piece of evidence they mentioned in the first half, and then maybe it might be in part 2, huh? Let me slow my roll. Oh, so I guess we're coming towards the end, and so this is super interesting, where I say I take like life lessons from it. So, the joke of life. Now, my thing, I have this philosophy called the joke of life, and I say I'm a conduit of a philosophy, of a way of thinking and living and being that already exists. It's called the joke of life, and basically, I'm tuned into the question of, so if this scab is supposed to get better and it's itching, why does it itch? So it gets better and it itches. It does the one thing that makes me want to pick the scab to heal. To me, that's a joke of life. When I found out about death, like when I was like young, and I found out like dying, like you could die and not come back was a thing. I remember thinking, what? So I'm alive and I can die? What are you talking about? I was born and now I can die? But as I get older, it's a joke of life. You know? It's a joke of life. And basically, it's like everything is Alice in Wonderland. You go up to go down, you go down to go up. If you only try to go up, you go down. And if you only try to go down, you go up sometime. Or you'll stay down. That's a joke of life. You might think it's the opposite, but it's actually the really opposite. I'm sure I'll point out more examples. But anyway, in this show, the first episode, a dope example was the Trinity: Batman, Catwoman, and the Red Claw. Now, all of them are doing the same thing. All of them breaking the law. Like, let's just, if there's a line that's the law, they all three breaking it. One. So let's just start there. All three of them are willing to die for what they believe in. Batman for justice. He don't want nobody to end up the way he was with his parents killed. Catwoman, she's ready to fight for these animals, and clearly she's ready to risk her life to save some animals' lives. She's done it multiple times throughout the episode. And Red Claw, I think it might have been in episode part 2. So I guess I'm speaking a little early. But there's like a little part where she has the virus, and she threatens to, it's either the virus or she has like a bomb, and she threatens to like detonate it if he gets closer. Like and he's like, but it'll kill you. And she's like, yes, but it'll also kill everyone else in a 10-mile radius. Can you take that, Batman? No wonder you've been bested by a woman, or something like that. So she's willing to die for her cause. Although, I'm sure once I'll do my 3 watch on that, I'll have some thoughts about that. But I'm like, dang, all 3 of them willing to die. All 3 of them, they're not sitting on their butt. They're not sitting on their ass. They up doing it. I'm not saying Red Claw's doing this positive, or Catwoman, or Batman, I guess. I mean, I'm not promoting vigilantism. But as someone who's very much gotten comfortable with just being an NPC of life, these characters are out here. They're not real people, I get it, but they out here they doing it. They're not sitting on the couch. No. I just kind of admire people that, I guess I got to be careful. I admire people that are putting positive stuff out there and are not sitting on the couch. But I see how, and so the hypocrisy. Batman saying justice is between him and Catwoman. I would love for them, and maybe I need to write like a real argument or conversation between the two, because Batman has no legs to stand on when it comes to that argument. Okay, so I'm so Catwoman. Okay, so I'm stealing. What's up? What, you ain't breaking the law? No, what you gonna say? What? You ain't got no badge. Get a badge. Get a badge. Oh, people with a badge can't do what you do? So it's okay for you to break the law, but I can't break the law. I'm doing positive stuff with myself too. I'm broke. I be giving myself to the cats, and you see I got strays. I'm taking care of them. I'm taking care of the mofos that end up like you with no parents, fool. I'm taking care of the stray cats. And you trying to tell me what? You gonna try to arrest me? A criminal arrests another criminal and takes them to GCPD. Like, so that kept, after I watched it the 3rd time, it was like, yeah, this is nice and cute, and you all hit, the hero and, the femme fatale. But it's like, Catwoman has an argument. It's like, Batman, get out of my face. Batman, get out of my face, dude. You are a vigilante, bro. Take the test. Get on the force. So, I mean, I get it. Clearly, Batman holds himself to a different standard. And yes, clearly Batman isn't robbing fools. But also, it's like, how do you explain the vigilantism? Like, because it's not like, oh, people can't be vigilantes unless they're qualified. It's like, no. Which is funny, as I get older. When I was younger, I used to think, oh man, why they hating on Batman? They know Batman's a good guy. Why they hating? But now that I'm older, I'm like, oh my gosh. They're not with Batman in the Batcave in his private moments. They didn't see the origin story through his eyes, like me. All they see is a dude in a bat suit, breaking the law, fighting people, and as far as you know, he's just as guilty as him. He stays on the hush hush. He stays low, hides his face. For all you know, he could be out here committing crimes and doing this to keep y'all off his back. You don't know. You have no information about him. But I still like Batman though. But I'm just saying, when I approach it from that level, it's like, and then of course, me thinking that the Red Claw having a front, right? The Multigun International company is a front for what they're really doing. But it's like also Bruce Wayne is a front for Batman. Selena Kyle is a front for Catwoman for what they really want to do. The goals they want to achieve through the means that they want to achieve them. Because, hey, Bruce Wayne, I get it, dog, but you're going to have to do city planning. You're going to have to do this politics. You're going to have to get your hands dirty, brother, if you're going to really make some change. Or if you're going to try to do it that way. Nope. He out here breaking the law. And that's not coming from a hater. That's coming from if you're looking at the law, the rule book. So, the hypocrisy, which I can't, I'm not saying it as a judge. I'm definitely not judging, because I'm definitely guilty of all the guiltiness that's been guiltified. Well, not all the guiltiness. Well, maybe, because I've killed some bugs before. I have killed some bugs. You could tell, bro. You see it approaching them. She's spidering them. No, some ants. I get on it sometimes, but I gotta have more peace, more zen. We all sharing the earth, bruh. But yeah, those three believing in something bigger than themselves. But that's the joke of life. I think it's tough to live life and not take part in some form of hypocrisy. You know? It's the wiles of life, you know? There is no, what they say, there's no rule book. Like, literally, there's no rule book. So, I just thought it was interesting. It was actually a show where there's, like, technically no hero because everybody's breaking the law. But he's a great example, though. He is a great example. And again, like, that's the world. That's the world that Batman is trying to make change in. This, to me, that's very similar to how tough it is to make change in the world I live in, the world we live in. And that's just because it's tough. It's funny, was it Marcus Aurelius said, was it life is change? But then at the same time, it's tough to make change. See, the joke of life, right there, the joke of life. See, I told you it was going to come up. See, you want to make change, but then life is always changing, but it's not changing the way we need it to change or the way we'd like it to change. And the only way we can get it to change is if it makes change. The joke of life is everywhere. I think that's all I got for this first episode. 43 minutes. Oh my gosh. But I wrote down hella notes. I'm still not sure what the connection is with the feds warning Jim Gordon, but they're not really giving him any information. But hey, sometimes things aren't going to add up, and that's okay. Happy accidents. All right, for sure. So I'm trying to do part 2 ASAP. But I know I said I was going to put up a review, and that day I did not. I'm laughing to hide the pain. I need to be a man of my word. Man of my word. All right. So dope. Part 1. Part 2 coming. And we're just going to keep rolling through these. We're going to go through all the seasons of Batman. I know this is like a syllabus. This is like after the first episode of the season when they say, upcoming this season. That's what this is right now. So I'm going to go through all the seasons of Batman animated series. And I guess I should just continue through all the Batman animated series, shows, movies, properties. Probably not video games, because I'm not that great of a player to beat a video game 3 times and then try to talk all about it. And why even talk about it? Y'all like, I played it, duh. But I'll get to some shows and movies, and then Hajime. I definitely want to do Hajime no Ippo. Maybe Dragon Ball Z. And we'll see about after that, but definitely Dragon Ball Z. Samurai Jack. I'm probably getting a little crazy because all those have mad episodes. But Batman animated series, for sure. The Cat and the Claw Part 2. And yeah. See, I got the Dragon Balls on the do-rag, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Is it Shenron? Shenron keeping the braids. Keeping the braids nice and, I don't even know a word for it. Nice and sensued, I guess. And speaking of sensu beans, I'm gonna go take me some sensu beans. All right, well, hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna get better. Don't worry about it. It's one step in the right direction. We gonna get there. But you can see the love. You can see the passion. You can see the fire. I have it. Just stay tuned. Or not, because I just need to be peaceful. I need to be chilling. Whether it is or whether it isn't, I need to find peace. Meditate. Good night. Or good day. Or good afternoon. Just be good.